you have to make a thing believable without using the device of acting. And that doesn't make any sense at all. But I've sort of, over the years, I've developed a theory. I'm getting to believe that in films, what everybody is striving for is to produce moments, not a performance, not a characterization, not something that you get into the part and it's, you produce moments that create a feeling of believability to what you're doing. Now, the moments sometimes don't work. Sometimes it doesn't go, nothing happens. William Wyler has always been very famous for taking a lot of takes. And there's the story that he had this scene with a bunch of very competent people, a very important scene in the movie, and he'd already done it 30 times. And one of them came and said, Willie, I want to know what we're doing wrong. What do you want us to do now? I don't know what. And Willie said, no, you're doing it fine. I'm just waiting for something to happen. And that's what I mean by creating moments. Another thing that happened over the years that bears this out is that people will come up to me and say, boy, I like that picture you did. Now, they won't remember the name of the picture. They won't remember where they saw it. They won't remember who was in it or who directed it. But they said, you know that picture? You were in this room. And you were some kind of a lawyer or something. And this fellow was over there, and he turned to you and he said, and I forget what he said, but you looked at him, and boy, that was some look you gave. And a great many times, you remember that moment too, and you thought it was pretty good. Every once in a while. I remember just while I'm on this, in this moment thing, I was making a picture in British Columbia, Western, and we were on the Columbia ice fields, and it was raining, and there was heavy mist around, and we couldn't shoot, so we were all huddled around a fire, and suddenly out of the mist came a man, and he was not a young man, and he had a beard. It wasn't exactly a beard, he just hadn't shaved for a while. And he was sort of a miner type, was dressed like a miner. And he came closer to us and he said, which one of you fellows is Stewart? And I said, I am. And he came over and looked at me and he said, oh yeah, now I recognize you. He said, well, I heard you was here and I thought I'd come up and say hello. I've seen a lot of your pictures. Picture shows, he called them. He said, but I think the one I like best, you were in this room. And your girlfriend was in the next room, and there were fireflies outside. And you recited a piece of poetry to her. And I thought that was a nice thing for you to do. And I remembered exactly the moment and exactly the film. I remembered who was in it and who directed it. And I also realized that that picture had been released 20 years before. And it made a tremendous impression on me, that man. To think that I had been part of creating a moment that this man had liked and had remembered for 20 years. And I'll never forget it. This is what I mean.